All right, so we're starting here. The storm that came ashore as Hurricane Hilary yesterday morning is still hammering millions of Americans with powerful winds and widespread flooding. Southern California had not experienced a tropical storm since 1939, and it's creating a travel mess. So Carter Evans is covering the storm for us in Palm Springs, California. Carter, good morning.
Well, good morning. You can see the rain has eased off. That's some good news. It appears the worst of us may be behind us right now. This is a major thoroughfare. It looks more like a river right now. It's just one of several roads that have flooded. First responders even had to make some swift water rescues. And how's this for bad timing? At the height of the storm, 911 lines were down in several communities.
We are flooded.
Tropical storm Hilary tore through Southern California Sunday, bringing more than 40-mile-an-hour winds and major flooding to the desert. In a matter of hours, Palm Springs received more than half a year's worth of rain.
I have a friend who just saw a 60-foot carport get blown off of his neighbor's house and carried 4 houses up.
Nearby, 50 homes in this mobile park in Riverside County were flooded, prompting several rescues.
The rain only started about an hour and a half ago, but look at this, about 3 feet of water flowing down the street and rising quickly. Already a car stranded. This is why they call it flash flooding.
Everything in the mountains is coming straight downhill, gravity, and it's coming right through us.
That is all avalanche debris.
Hilary made landfall in Baja California, Mexico Sunday, with heavy rain and winds pummeling the region. One person died in flash flooding, and as the storm moved into Southern California,
it's like somebody might have fallen over the edge here.
Coastal communities like Malibu were extremely dangerous. Emergency crews had to rescue this fisherman who fell off a rocky cliff. And just as Tropical Storm Hilary was making its way into Los Angeles, a 5.1 magnitude earthquake shook the nearby town of Ojai.
Caught us off guard, to say the least.
These are interesting times, and when you add a tornado in there and you add lightning strikes and we're dealing with burn scars, you're dealing with massive floods that took more lives than all the wildfires combined in the last few years. It is one remarkable moment in time.
Now, to give you an idea of just how intense this storm was, we're in the desert here. Palm Springs normally gets about 4.5 inches of rain a year. Yesterday alone, they got more than 3 inches of rain. It was the wettest August day on record for Palm Springs. The governor has now declared a state of emergency to help with recovery efforts. Omar and Anne-Marie.
What a scene. Carter, thank you. For more on the storm, I want to bring in Elise Preston, who's in Wrightwood, California. Elise, what's the impact there where you're at?
Well, Omar, we are on a state route here in Wrightwood, and it is completely impassable. The road has been washed out by mud and debris flows. I'm standing in mud that's several inches thick, but just 30 yards up there, you can't even pass. It's too dangerous. We could not carry all of our equipment there. Water is flowing down. Keep in mind, Omar, that I'm about 5'5". Boulders are hitting me just around my elbow here. And we've also seen some logs, trunks, branches that have just been ripped from trees. They're about my height, and they're just scattered in the roadway up that way. So people cannot get by. As you can imagine, the road is shut down, and there are roads shut down pretty much all across this area in efforts to keep people safe, Omar.
Well, at least, and I've covered enough hurricanes where people want to survive the initial impact, but are they even talking about cleaning up? Is there any time frame when they think they may have that? Because behind you, it looks pretty rough.
Yeah, it is really rough. And we have seen a couple of people. There was someone just out moments ago. They were just kind of surveying the damage. But keep in mind, Omar, you are based in the south, here in the West Coast, here in Southern California. A tropical storm hasn't hit since 1939. So in addition to this storm coming, this is just very unusual. I think people are, number one, shocked that this happened despite the warnings. People are just kind of waking up this morning, kind of looking around saying, what happened?
Well, be careful out there. Elise Preston, thank you very much.
So for more on the storm's impact, we're joined by Mayor Zak Schwank from Temecula, California, which is part of Riverside County. Great to see you, sir, because I'm sure you're pretty busy right now. But let's talk a little bit more about the situation in your city. Give us kind of the lay of the land and how this weather has impacted things.
Sure. Well, thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to speak with everyone this morning. So the city of Temecula fared pretty well, all things considered, given what we've seen in the desert communities and some of our surrounding mountain communities. We received about 1.5 inches worth of rain, and the winds picked up really heavily last night. So that was pretty challenging in the evening. On my way in this morning, kind of surveying some of our creeks and streets were really full of debris and some downed limbs and things like that. But overall, our community fared very well.
Evacuation orders were issued for Riverside County, Mayor, and a flash flood warning has been extended, we understand, this morning for that area. But what are some of the concerns that you're seeing and some challenges from some of the problems that popped up?
Yeah, so the biggest concern was just this isn't something we experience. And so we did have a little bit of time to plan for this. And so our emergency manager, Michael Alford, did a great job along with our city manager, really letting the community know that this was serious. We were able to give out about 12,000 sandbags to residents. And to see folks come together, help out their neighbors, help out senior citizens, and some of our most vulnerable residents was really uplifting. But yesterday we were sort of wondering, do we need to evacuate when we have the potential for storm flows and some significant amount of rain? And thankfully we were ready, but we didn't have to mobilize. And like I said earlier, I think we fared pretty well.
Well, as you know, it's one thing to sort of get through it, and then there is the aftermath, right? That we're talking about sort of waterlogged soil that could give way at any time. In your area, you also have a pretty good sort of wine series of vineyards, a wine valley there. I don't know what sort of impact, if you know what sort of impact that has had, but you must be a little concerned about the longer-term impact on the economy in your area.
Yeah, of course. And that's something we are concerned about and assessing with our partners in Riverside County. The wine country is a different topography than where we are. And so we'll have to get out there and help assess. But we certainly want to make sure that, everything's safe so our visitors and our tourism industry can continue to thrive here in Temecula.
And as cleanup, are you guys even trying to estimate how long it may take to clean up?
So our Public Works Department did a really great job of being proactive in a lot of spaces. I would suspect they've been out all night. In fact, I received an update overnight that they were out working through the night and into the morning as we start the day today. I wouldn't really be able to understand the full breadth of what we're dealing with until the sun comes up and we can kind of get out and see what some of those roads out in our more rural parts of our city look like. But I suspect we're in for a good solid week worth of work cleaning up.
Now, I know you probably prepare for all sorts of things. Lately, we've been talking about the heat. You don't prepare, though, budget-wise is what I'm thinking about, for storms like this. So can you talk a little bit about any assistance that you're hoping to get? Is there enough money in the budget to sort of clean this whole thing up?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we do invest, obviously, in emergency management. But knowing yesterday, and I certainly want to thank Governor Newsom for declaring a state of emergency, that's really going to help our community and our region as a whole. And it was quite wonderful, honestly, to see him in Southern California yesterday speaking with folks in and around our area. So I think, again, working with the state and our partners in Riverside County to tackle this cleanup, because it is going to be a significant expense and really just the time and energy staff from CAL FIRE partners and our Riverside County Sheriff's Department and just the time and energy we've spent and will continue to spend on this. It certainly will add up, and it's a significant expense.
Mayor Zak Schwank, when the sun comes up, I hope everything's okay. Thank you for your time.
Appreciate being here. Thank you.